"Where are the children?" they screamed. The 29-year-old woman sat in the chair. Her hands were tied. Her face was swollen, but her eyes were defiant. "What children?" she said. The first punch came, then the second, the third. They broke her arm. The woman groaned in pain, but she didn't speak. "Where are the children's names?" "I don't know." "You're lying." They hit her again, this time her legs. The sound of breaking bones. The woman nearly passed out, but still she didn't talk, because she knew, if she talked, 2,500 children would die. If she stayed silent, only she would die, and Irena Sendler would never let any child die. September 1941. Warsaw Ghetto. 450,000 Jews were trapped in 1.3 square miles. Inside there was starvation, disease. Every day children died in the streets. Irena Sendler was a 29-year-old social worker. Her job was to control epidemic diseases in the ghetto, but her real purpose was different: to save the children. "When the trains leave, children die," she told herself. "But not on my watch." She never forgot the day she saved her first child. She was 6 years old. Her name was Elżbieta. Her mother, crying, gave her daughter to Irena. "Can you save her?" she asked. Irena had to be honest. "I'll try." In the back of the ambulance was a hidden compartment, small, dark, airless, but big enough for one child. She put Elżbieta inside. "Don't make a sound," she said. "No matter what." "Okay." The girl nodded, tears streaming down her face. But she made no sound. The ambulance reached the gate. The guard looked inside. "Anything else?" Irena's heart was racing, but her voice was calm. "No." The guard stared for a moment, then nodded. "Go ahead." The first child was saved, but 2,499 more remained. In the ghetto, hundreds died every day. Bodies were taken to the cemetery in coffins. Irena made a terrible but effective plan: smuggled children in coffins. She placed a small child at the bottom of the coffin, covered them with a light cloth, then placed a real corpse on top. "Don't breathe," she whispered. "No matter what. Lie like you're dead." The guards didn't check the coffins. No one wanted to deal with the dead. At the cemetery, Irena opened the coffin, took out the child, alive. This method saved 12 children. Under the ghetto were old sewage tunnels, narrow, dark, stinking. Irena used these tunnels. At night, she secretly lowered children down through manhole covers. "Walk toward the light," she said. "Don't stop." Children walked through dirty water, among rats, for hours in darkness. At the other end of the tunnel, Irena's friends waited. They took the children, washed them, fed them. This method saved over 50 children. Irena gave children sleeping medicine. The child slept. She placed them on a stretcher, covered them with a sheet. "Typhus patient," she told the guards. "Highly contagious. Don't touch." The guards were afraid. They backed away. Sometimes she put children in large sacks, covered them with garbage. "Collecting trash," she said. The guards didn't look at the garbage, but the hardest part wasn't smuggling the children. The hardest part was convincing the parents. A mother, crying, asked, "Will I ever see her again?" Irena had to be honest. "I don't know." "Then why should I give her to you?" "Because if she stays here, she'll die. But if I take her, she might live." The mother looked at her daughter. Then, crying, she handed her over. "She'll forget her name," Irena said. "I'll give her a new identity. She'll live with a Christian family. But when the war ends, I'll bring her back. I promise." Irena wrote down the real name of every one of the 2,500 children on small pieces of paper, then put them in jars, buried them in her garden. "When the war ends," she said, "I'll return these children to their families." someone informed on Irena. The Gestapo came, broke down the door. Where are the children? Irena didn't answer. They beat her, broke her arms, broke her legs. Where are the children's names? I don't know. They hit her again. Irena passed out, but didn't talk, because she knew if she stayed silent, only she would die. If she talked, 2,500 children would die. The choice was easy. The Gestapo decided to execute Irena. Date, October 20th, 1943. But the Polish resistance bribed a Gestapo officer. $2,500. Release Irena. The officer took the money, wrote executed on her file, but actually he released her on the street. Irena was free, but she couldn't walk. With broken arms and legs, her friends hit her. May 1945. May 1945. The war ended. Irena's hands were still shaking as she walked to her garden. Her arms, broken 2 years ago, had never fully healed. They ached in the cold, but she didn't care. She dropped to her knees, started digging with a small shovel. The soil was hard. Her broken fingers struggled to grip the handle, but she kept digging, 1 foot down, 2 feet. Then she felt it. Glass. She pulled out the first jar, opened it carefully. Inside, small pieces of paper. Wet, faded, but readable. Names. 2,500 names. She read the first one. Elżbieta Fitchman. Real name, Rachel Goldstein. Age, 6. Parents, David and Sarah Goldstein. Address, Noah Lipke Street, 31. Irena closed her eyes. She remembered Rachel. The little girl who didn't make a sound in the ambulance. The girl who survived. But did her parents? The next day, Irena went to Noah Lipke Street, 31. The building was destroyed, bombed during the Warsaw Uprising. No one lived there anymore. She asked neighbors. Do you know the Goldsteins? An old woman shook her head. They were taken in 1943. To Treblinka. No one came back. Irena's heart sank. Rachel was alive. But her parents were dead. She found Rachel living with a Christian family in the countryside. The girl was now 10 years old. She didn't remember her real name, didn't remember her parents, didn't remember being Jewish. Irena sat down with her. Your name is Rachel, she said gently. Rachel Goldstein. Your parents loved you very much. They gave you to me to save your life. Rachel looked confused. But my parents are here. They're Maria and John. No, sweetheart. Maria and John saved you. But your real parents, they're gone. Rachel started crying. I don't want to be Rachel. I want to be Elżbieta. Irena held her. You can be both. You can remember who you were and who you are now. Out of 2,500 children, Irena found 2,000 alive, but only 500 had surviving family members. The other 1,500, orphans. Parents dead in camps, siblings dead, grandparents dead, aunts, uncles, cousins, all gone. Irena had saved the children, but she couldn't save their families. One day, a 12-year-old boy came to her. His name was David. She had smuggled him out in a coffin when he was 8 inches. Thank you for saving me, he said. You're welcome, Irena replied. But why did you save me and not my mother? Irena had no answer. I couldn't. There were so many. I did what I could. David nodded, then walked away. Irena never saw him again. That question haunted her for the rest of her life. Why them and not others? In her garden, Irena had buried 12 jars. She opened 11th. But the 12th jar remained buried for 2 years, because she was afraid. That jar contained the names of children who didn't survive the hiding. Children who got sick and died in Christian homes. Children who were discovered and killed. Children who, despite everything, were lost. 250 names. Finally, in 1947, Irena dug up the jar, opened it, read the names. She wept for 3 days. Then she wrote letters to the families who had survived, telling them their children were gone. One mother wrote back, "You saved 2,000. You couldn't save all, but you tried. And that's more than anyone else did." After the war, Poland became communist. The new government didn't want heroes from the wrong side. Irena's work was forgotten, ignored, even suppressed. She went back to social work, lived quietly, raised her own children, never spoke about what she did. For 40 years, no one knew her story. Then in 1999, 4 American high school students in Kansas found a brief mention of her in an old article. They wrote a play about her life. Life in a Jar. The play spread. People learned her story. Israel invited her, gave her the Righteous Among Nations medal. Journalists asked, "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Irena shrugged. "I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because it needed to be done." In 2007, at age 97, Irena met 50 of the children she'd saved, now elderly, in their 60s and 70s. One woman, 68, said, "I was only 2 when you saved me, but I have children, grandchildren, 15 people alive today because you didn't give up on a baby." Irena smiled. "I wish I could have saved more." Another man, 71, said, "You saved 2,500, but those 2,500 had children. Today, over 6,000 people are alive because of you." Irena looked at the room full of descendants. "This," she whispered, "makes it worth it." A year later, in 2008, a reporter visited Irena in the hospital. She was 98, dying. "If you could go back, what would you do differently?" Irena smiled weakly. "I would save more children." She paused. "But I'm proud. Every single life was worth the risk. If I had to do it again, broken arms, torture, fear and all, I would, in a heartbeat." 3 days later, she died. At her funeral, one man brought his grandchild, placed the baby on her coffin. "This baby exists because you didn't give up on me in 1943.